sights to show you.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the first edition of Frazer and Jay versus Evil, the horror podcast all about horror films, blood and guts, and all that good shit. I'll introduce my co-host of this podcast. We have the one and only, he hams rams, or he does something with ram anyway. Ram Hammer, hello.
What was that?
I don't know. I have not got a clue.
Ram hams. That's what I do.
Yeah. You like hams.
Love ham. Ham's great.
So what is this start of this podcast?
I have no
what's
idea.
going on? So Frazer, we have begun this horror thing we've been talking about for what feels like about a year.
Probably. Definitely been about a year.
Probably about a year.
Definitely about a year now.
But yeah, how you been, man? We haven't spoken in a while.
Yeah, not too bad. Essentially broke my back. No, I didn't break my back. I just hurt myself. And I'm in a different area for the month because I have the whole entire flat to myself. So I thought I'm going to use the space available and have a nice little black backdrop for when I stream, and obviously for doing this as well. And,
yeah.
Yes, I have such sights to show you.
Yeah, I need to come visit soon, to be fair.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
Hell yeah. So we've just going to say some of those. We have Forgotten World of Movies. Hello, sir. Welcome to the stream.
Welcome.
He asks, how are we doing tonight? I'm doing good, man. I'm doing good.
Great. I got my fighting juice. I'm good.
Awesome.
It's
Forgotten World of Movies. He's got a really good channel, by the way. I recommend his channel.
Nice. Thanks, man. I will check out anyone who wishes to be checked out. I guess.
Did that sound right in your head? Does that sound better in your head?
Yeah. It always sounds better in my head. Just need to put a zip on this because it just runs away.
So let's get started with this thing. Like, just want to start this off by just what we've been watching recently, horror wise. So, what have you been watching lately, horror movie wise?
In terms of new films I've been watching, so I've been checking out a couple of films I've been waiting for, and a couple of films that I had never heard of, but I just saw them available to watch, so I thought I'd give them a go. So the first one I want to talk about, and I know you've seen this, is Spiral, the jigsaw story thingy, even though it's got nothing to do with Jigsaw. I think it wasn't bad. I mean, I did rewatch all of the Saw films very recently, and it's definitely a very competent entry into the series. It's definitely one of the better ones because there is a lot of rubbish in the middle.
I agree.
Yeah, it's a very competent, like investigative sort of cop. Like mystery, murder mystery sort of story, which I quite liked actually. So that was pretty cool. What about you? What have you? I mean, we'll go back and forth with this. So
I was going to elaborate on Spiral just to get my thoughts out a little bit. Even though I have sort of elaborated on my thoughts a little bit on the channel, but I think it's I thought it was an entertaining cop procedural that didn't necessarily need the Saw franchise to be attached to it. It felt very forced.
Yeah.
The whole Saw element, and I don't know about you, but I saw who the killer was as soon as there's a I'm not going to spoil it if people haven't seen it yet. There's a particular piece of dialogue that I'm like, oh, well, it's him then. Clearly.
It's them. It's that person.
Yeah, you know what I mean. So I felt that wasn't hidden very well. It was quite easy to deduce who it was. The only thing I didn't like about the film, I thought the film just kind of just ends, like it just abruptly ends, and not in a good way. Where like obviously you got in the first Saw, you've got the whole Tobin Bell standing up and going game over and closing the shutter door, which is pretty epic.
We don't really need that anymore. I mean, that's so cheesy.
Yeah, I know.
That's
I know.
Like, oh, of course. Someone has to say something hammy.
No, I'm not even saying that, but I just felt like the film kind of just cuts to black almost and just ends. I'm so, oh, okay, it's finished. Great. I don't know. Like I just said, I just think it's a really good kind of cop procedural that for some reason has the Saw license attached to it, which it didn't really need.
It really does not need it at all.
People would say, oh, but it wouldn't, an original film doesn't make money these days. You might be right, but going by the domestic American box office, it hasn't made money anyway. Apparently, it's bombed. Apparently, it bombed at the box office in America.
Yeah,
that's with the Saw license, so that says something.
Yeah,
I feel like maybe people are just tired of this franchise now, and just like a new one doesn't really appeal.
It's just not interesting anymore. I mean, it's like, well, they did the whole. They started off sort of like on a good foot, and then they just started going like, "Oh, let's make this as violent as possible and make it just absolutely obscene," and it just becomes. People go, "Oh, it's so shocking." Now I'm like, it's kind of not. Like, I'm not saying this because I definitely desensitized the violence.
Oh yeah,
but
mm-hmm.
I don't. I feel like too much. Like, less is more. Less is more in those sort of films. Like, not saying that it needs to be implied, but it's just not shocking when you've seen someone have to hurt themselves to get out of the trap 500 times. It's like. It just bugged me. I liked that one because it was very much. I think we said before when we spoken about this, like a lot of the punishments definitely seem like they fit the crime, like they matched, definitely. Which was cool.
Yeah.
But that was about it, honestly. Like the rest of it wasn't all that. I mean, I liked the cast. The cast was interesting, but other than that, it was just it was pretty meh. Like, it wasn't bad, but it was meh. So.
Yeah. Just moving on to the comments. Very not many people watching, which is a shame. Only got a couple of people watching tonight, but it is a complete change of format, so I'm not surprised, to be honest.
Yeah, cool.
It's not my usual Friday foray of live stream.
Yeah, it's cool.
Forgotten Mode of Movies. He says, I watched Sinister for the first time today. Thought it was pretty good. I like that film. I think it has its problems, but I still quite enjoyed it when I first saw it.
I do not like that film. Okay, I just I don't know. It's been so long since I saw it at the cinema, and I haven't watched it since. And I remember coming out and kind of going, yeah, it was all right. A couple of good moments where some spooky things happen, and it's like, oh, that's clever. But then overall, I was like, it doesn't really do it for me. And then I just remember, for a while, everyone was getting confused between that and Insidious because they have similar names, I guess. But and I was like, I'm on one fence, everyone else is on the other. I'm like, cool, that's fine. But yeah, no, I wasn't a fan. But it's not bad. It's just didn't really think much of it.
I generally thought the actual entity was Bagul. I thought he was generally frightening.
Creepy, yeah.
I thought it was creepy. However, I feel like I said, the film's got flaws, and I think the biggest flaw of it is Blumhouse are notorious for this. Is just like, a film is only scary when it's got jump scares in it, and that film has a bunch of unnecessary jump scares. I'm gonna switch it around and just for me, the big two production houses for horror at the moment are Blumhouse Productions and A24. A24 take a bit more risk with their horror films. They're a bit more arty and a bit more kind of intelligent towards it. And I find Blumhouse is more for the wider audience, jump scares, etc. So I just feel like that first Sinister film has a lot of just unnecessary jump scares. Even at the end, there's that final jump scare where he just turns to the camera you're like, was that why?
I can't remember. The only thing I remember from that, honestly, now I think about it, is the bit where the guy's got a still of the entity on the screen. It just turns to look at him, even though it's a still. Yeah. And I was like, oh, that's creepy. Mm-hmm. But that's the only takeaway I have from it. I was like, oh, that was a good bit. I like that. But they had that bit in the fucking trailer. I was like,
yeah. I quite liked the what's it? I quite liked what was I going to say? I quite liked the homemade films, the snuff films he watches during the movie. I thought those were some of the cooler bits of the film, where he's checking these tapes out. It's all like snuff movies.
Mm,
Do you remember those?
vaguely, very
They were
vaguely.
quite creepy. We have another comment here. We have Geeky Hijinks reviews. Hello, Joe. Welcome to the stream, my dude.
Welcome.
He said, "Evening, guys. Just recording, but I thought I'd say hi. I will pop in now and then. But what plums have given this 5 dislikes? Don't worry about them haters. Yeah, I get it all the time. Don't worry about it. I'm not bothered. To be fair, they'll eventually be purged by YouTube. You know, they just go back to 0 dislikes. That's what usually happens. So it's all good. Thanks for
Some
jumping
people
in, Joe. I appreciate it.
Neggy news. They just want to do all this fucking stupid shit. Oh,
Yeah.
it bugs the hell out of me. But yeah.
But I've learned. I've been on YouTube. Like, you know, the best action is to just not bring attention to those kind of people, because
Oh yeah, of
it's what
course
they
not.
look for, isn't it? So
Yeah,
but yeah,
absolutely.
we have another legend that has come into the chat. We have Phil 4K. Evening, lads. Hope you're both doing well. Doing really well, man. I'm doing good.
Great, thanks, mate.
Phil is a legend, and he will always be a legend. So I hope you're feeling better, my friend. I know you've been through a bit of a shit week, so I hope you're feeling better, my mate. So where was he? Right. So you watched Spiral.
Oh, it's Spiral. Yep.
I've recently been watching some older stuff that you've recommended. So I watched Bram Stoker's Dracula from the 90s. I can't remember what year did it come out.
92.
92. Okay. Loved it. Thought it was fantastic.
Mm.
I think it got it's got the whole gothic look of Transylvania and all that kind of look to the film. Bang on. I
Yeah.
thought it just had the
It's got a nice thick layer of ham,
yeah.
and you got to love that. And it's the acting is mostly quite good. I mean, I can't say much for Keanu Reeves and his accent, which is awful.
Yeah. That's
But
the one thing where I'm like,
one
okay,
of
his
the
accent's really bad.
one of the only bad things about the movie, if you ask me. I think the rest of it is pretty good. Um, some of the characters are pretty forgettable, but like most of them are pretty great. Like I mean, the highlight. I mean, you're not obviously not going to be surprised about what I'm going to say, but one of the highlights for me, without a shadow of a doubt, is Gary Oldman. He is outstanding in that film. He's Dracula
Fantastic.
to a T. When he's like got like the sort of the modern clothes on, he's just strutting around London like trying to follow Mina, and you're just like, oh, this guy, he looks so
Yeah.
cool. I want a pair
See,
of those glasses for the longest time.
I really liked his earlier interactions with Keanu Reeves, where
Oh
he's
yeah,
like
spooky.
he's trying to be all like civil, but his shadows like his shadows like getting annoyed. Like
Yeah.
it's just like you can tell he just wants to kill this dude. Like
I love the bit where he's like, "Oh, it cut you shaving. Never mind." And he just like turns around, just like licks the razor, and you're just like,
yeah.
"This
So
guy does
very
not mean you
strange.
well. He does not mean you well."
Yeah, I like it where he leaves him with those mistresses, those vampire mistresses, and it's
Well,
just
no,
like
he doesn't leave them with. He doesn't know that they've kind of seduced him. He doesn't know that
yeah.
they've called him in and they're just biting him and doing all sorts of other nefarious things with him. And it's like, orgy of blood, eh? And it's stupid. I love it though. It's really good. Yeah.
Yeah,
Good film. Great film.
it's a great film. What's next on the docket that you've watched recently, Frank?
So I've got I had like 5 films that I watched recently that are new, and a couple that I rewatched recently, and I was just like, yeah, one's great and one's ridiculous. But with the newer stuff, so let's take one that I thought was pretty naff. Right, so I watched one and it was recommended to me. Naff, yeah, it's definitely naff. Oh, what did I just drop on the floor?
The spooks are happening.
It's my fault. I forgot to secure my desk while screwing it in. So I need to do that in a bit. No, so I watched a film. It was recommended to me on the app that I use for a lot of my movies and stuff, and it's this film called The Djinn. spelt DJINN, like the traditional way of spelling it, kind of like
Yeah.
the guy from Wishmaster. Obviously, it's a
Yeah.
Jin,
Yeah.
and this whole one is like, you have to perform this ritual, and it will grant a wish, but then you have to put up with it for like 6 hours or something like that. I can't remember how long it is. You have to put up with it until midnight, like deal with its company. And it's not a nice creature, obviously, and it's trying to trick this young boy who's dumb, not dumb. What's it? What's mute? That's the one I'm thinking of. He's not dumb. Sorry, he's mute. He can't talk.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah.
Wrong word. Wrong word.
Yeah.
He's also dumb for doing the ritual.
Okay.
Obviously,
Right,
I mean,
okay.
that's not spoiling anything because it's obvious that's probably what's going to happen. And it's all one location. It's all set in like a house, or no, not even a house. It's like a flat. It's like a single floor, single story flat, and it's got some creepy vibes in that, and it's got a twist ending, but it's not like it's like, oh no, terrible twist. It's the best twist. It was sort of like, okay, well that serves you right then, mate. Like it's not like it's nothing special. I mean, I probably like if I was going to give it a rating, I'd probably give it like a 5. So I'd probably rewatch it. But if someone was so inclined to watch something specifically about jinns or genies or whatever, yeah, go for it. Why not? Why the heck not? Yeah, I would not recommend overly.
Okay. Well, now I know not what to watch. Next time I'm on Netflix or whatever. Yeah. So I followed up Bram Stoker's Dracula with Mary Shelley's Frankenstein.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't really care for this one, if I'm honest with you.
I love that film.
I will say it has. Yeah, I'm not saying it's all bad. It has some really good positive. I thought the film looked the part. I thought Robert De Niro was great in the role of Frankenstein's monster. I thought he was fantastic. I thought the final act, the third act, where things really escalate to the point of ridiculousness. I thought that was the best part of the movie. I felt the first 2 acts. This is the issue I have with the film that kind of threw me off a little bit, and I wasn't really getting into it. It felt like the film was rushing to that final act, like it couldn't wait to get to the final end part of the film, because it doesn't give the film doesn't seem to give any time for anything to breathe. It's just like, oh, he's going away to school. Okay, cool. Oh, now he's found this guy. Okay, cool. Now, oh no, he's dead. Oh shit, no. Oh, he's going to use all his notes to create his own bring. Just basically stop death. That's what he's trying to do. Oh, he make his monster. Oh my god, the monster. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I mean, to be fair, that's how the story goes. So it's very much like he goes to school, he does all the things that he needs to do, and then he kind of gets this idea in his head, and he's like, I must find the cure for death. I must do this. I know there's more reason to it in the book, but I can't remember exactly what it was. It's been a very long time since I've read the book, but that is the closest adaptation of the book that I've seen. And obviously, it's a far cry from, fucking Boris Karloff, big green monster sort of.
Yeah.
Sorry, green. We know he's green, but he's obviously in black and white, unless you watch a colorized version, which is not worthwhile.
But yeah, regardless of like how faithful it is, I still felt like a lot of the film, the pacing came across rushed to me. I don't know why that might be, but I felt like it. Before you know it, the monster's there, he's alive, and then you still got like an hour of the film to go, or like maybe longer than that. So I was a bit like, I just felt like it just kind of rushed it a little bit, but I just kind of the pacing threw me off. But like I said, the final act is the best part of the film.
It's that one awesome bit where one of my favorite bits ever is where the monster is basically asking Frankenstein to make him a bride.
Yeah.
And he basically fails at doing it. And he has that line. He says, like, so you rob me of my wife or my partner, I shall rob you of yours, and pulls out Helen Bonham Carter's fucking heart.
I'll tell you what, like that bit, right? That bit, like he turns up in her bed and he's like on top of her. I'm like, oh shit, and he just goes blah, And I was like, and when it's well graphic as well, like pulls out, shows it to Frankenstein, and you're like, shit, like,
Yeah, it's pretty brutal. I mean, it's the fact that he created a super intelligent monster. Like he was like, oh, I'm gonna put the best parts of a human together, and he expects it to sort of like be okay and like not
yeah.
a complete, not just a complete one like a monster. Sorry, I got a fan on. That's not a poltergeist moving my shirt. There's a fan on down here to cool down my weary bones.
I was gonna say, yeah. So like when it concerns Frankenstein, I feel like I love that ending bit. I love where obviously he tries to bring back his bride, his wife, and he brings
Oh,
her to life, but she's all like confused and just kills her. I like when she just kills herself. That's fucking brutal.
yeah,
They're
it's
like
pretty brutal.
they're both fighting over her, and she just realizes what she's becoming, just like kills herself. It's grim. I like the ending as well, where because obviously it's all told by Victor to this group of guys in the Antarctic or wherever he is, in like the frozen place, wherever that is. And obviously he's telling the story. Then he dies at the end, doesn't he? And he's just like they meet Frankenstein's monster, and he's still upset about Victor dying. He goes, "Who was he to you?" He's like, "He's my father." And I was like, "That's nice." How it sort of. But when they were like doing his funeral, I did like the line where he's like, "Come with us." He's just like, "No, I'm done with man." And he just joins him, just goes on fire with him. I thought the ending, like I said, the final act and the ending were really good. I just have a problem with the first portion of the film being, I felt it was like quite rushed. But I didn't realize as well, because I haven't read the book, bear in mind, I didn't realize Frankenstein's monster. I didn't realize Frankenstein's monster was what do you call it?
Sorry, I just saw that.
Yeah,
Was what?
was that intelligent? Because in the original, 30s movie, is it 30s?
Yeah, I think. I
He's
think
not.
Frankenstein is.
But I don't remember him being that intelligent.
No,
In
he's
that,
not. He gets better as he understands things, and obviously the same happens for this one as well, where
mm,
um, he's like trying to understand things more because at the beginning he doesn't quite understand what he is. He doesn't understand
yeah,
what's going on, and it takes him a while to sort of get back to. You have like I think there's a moment where he's like watching some kids or something like playing, and he tries to like speak to them, and they're like, "Holy shit, it's a fucking monster!" And I'm fairly sure that happens. Again, it's another one where I have not watched it for a long time, so I will probably have to rewatch it very soon.
mm.
Yeah, I really liked it.
So what? So basically, what I've decided to do, which is kind of weird. I've started collecting strictly horror films on DVD.
Uh huh.
And people might ask, "Oh, why are you collecting DVDs when I'm mostly a Blu-ray collector, etc., etc." Well, when I can get them for like 25p each, or four for a quid or whatever from
Yeah.
charity shops, I've for the price of a brand new Blu-ray, so 20 quid for a brand new Blu-ray, I must have picked up about 50 titles from charity shops on DVD.
Mm.
And there's some obscure stuff there that I've never seen that I've heard people recommend. Oh, if you're into horror films, just check this little film out. It's really good.
Cool.
So I'd rather pay 25p than 20 quid. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And some films, for example, Creep.
Is that the one in London or is that the other
Yeah,
one?
London Underground. Yeah,
Have you not seen that? I'm fairly sure we
I
watched
have.
that.
I've seen it, but my example is, I was getting to my example. Sorry, this
Oh,
is not on Blu-ray. This
okay.
is not available on Blu-ray. So I quite like the, you know, four for a quid. You get it. And the crazy thing is as well, rewatching these films on DVD or watching like Frankenstein and Dracula were both DVDs that I watched them on, right?
Yeah.
And I didn't really have an issue with the resolution. I just watched it, So that tells me that don't always need like a Blu-ray to watch stuff.
I mean, if you're
When I
just buying it to watch it, then
Yeah.
Like, I don't see the point. I mean, like I said, that's why the only Blu-rays I've actually ended up getting are films I actually love, because I want to keep them. But a lot of the stuff that I watch, I just I source it elsewhere and I watch it, and I don't have to have something taking up room that I don't want. But we've had this discussion loads of
Yeah.
times, but we're on the opposite fence in that. But
Yeah, it's fair. Each their own, man. That's the thing.
Mm.
Everyone has their own preference and how they consume media,
Mhm.
of course. We have some people.
We have a few people, yes.
3 people coming in, which is nice. Thanks very much, everyone, for jumping in. Last chance, Ches. Hello, sir. Thanks for jumping in on the stream. Evening, guys. Hey, Jason. Thanks for the like on Instagram of my Parts of the Caribbean video CD that I picked up the other day. Yeah, I saw that. It's not a format you really see anymore, so that was quite interesting.
Video CD. That's
Yeah,
interesting.
that's a long dead format.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's cool to see that.
I completely forgot about video CDs. I mean, hell, I didn't. I completely forgot about laser discs until I bought one. I was like, oh
Yeah.
shit.
Literally as big as vinyl records, but they're like movies on them.
Huge things. So ridiculous.
We have Stephen Hogan in the chat. Welcome to the stream. He asks, "Do you like Paranormal Activity?"
First one, yeah.
Yeah, first one really well.
I can't remember any of the sequels, honestly. I remember it gets a little bit weird, but I remember the first one. I remember watching that in bed with my ex, and we were like, "I don't want to go to sleep now."
Yeah, I was the same.
Like it was freaky. That was freaky.
Yeah. Like I keep saying that the greatest fear is the unknown, and the idea of an invisible demon in my, stomping around my house at night time is actually scary.
Yeah, no thanks. Yeah, not fun.
I think I've only seen the first 3. I thought 2 was a good sequel. If I remember correctly, I was a bit disappointed with the third one. I've not seen any more other than that.
Yeah, I know I've seen a few of them. I just can't remember which ones. I know I've definitely seen the first one. I'm sure I've seen the second and third ones, but I know they've got like a couple other ones as well, like the marked ones and stuff like that. And I'm fairly sure I haven't watched that one. But I just tend to skip through them when it's like, oh, there's like 5 sequels now. I'm like, I'll just leave that one just for now. But, yes.
We have a big fan of Nintendo games. Hello, gentlemen. What is up? It's all good.
Good evening.
Everything's good.
Good evening, mate.
Movie More says, hello, guys. I was on Movie Worm stream last night. Cool.
Nice.
Welcome to the stream. What is the stream about? This is about horror movies we're chatting today.
Yes.
This is like a new little format for the stream. Frazer and Jay versus Evil. So if you've got any questions about horror films, throw them in the chat and we'll soon get to them at some point.
Yeah, it's specifically horror. I mean, we can expand this more, but generally speaking, horror.
Yes.
I would branch into at some point, maybe. One thing I do want to cover at some point, maybe not tonight, but like horror in other media. So obviously you've got horror books, you've got horror. I don't want to say horror music. There's not really a thing called horror music. Not in my book anyway. Some people might go, oh, like screamy stuff, that's horror. I'm like, not really. Like horror music is like, when I think of horror music, I think of like organs and like Phantom of the Opera sort of, even though Phantom of the Opera is not a horror film, or musical, sorry.
The thing is, the thing with horror with other mediums, I don't think I've really kind of explored horror in other mediums.
Well, that's why we've got to discuss it. There's always something to discuss.
It's a very strange question. Alone in the Dark or Goosebumps? Well, I couldn't. Alone in the Dark is a video game franchise, but Goosebumps is a book series. So
I'm fairly sure Alone in the Dark. Unless you mean the movies. I mean, do you mean Alone in the Dark, the film, and Goosebumps, the movie? So I cannot remember.
I think I've got Alone in the Dark on DVD.
Yeah, I saw you bought it.
Yeah, I've heard it's meant to be utter trash, but I thought it'd be a laugh.
They might be books actually.
What, Alone in the Dark books?
Yeah, but I don't think so. I'm not sure. TV shows. Alone in the Dark TV show. Really?
Mate, it could be. It could mean Are You Afraid of the Dark? It might
Yeah.
mean that because those were two shows I watched as a kid. So
Did you? Is that the one you mean, Stephen?
yeah,
Are
Steve,
you afraid of the
Steve,
dark?
yeah, please elaborate. That'd be great because I do reckon that's what he means because they were the two horror kid shows that I remember watching.
Yeah,
he
you just said that's it. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I think I
Um,
watched Goosebumps. I think more than Are You Afraid of the Dark?
I've definitely seen both. They're not like
Mm.
very nostalgic to me. I mean, the Goosebumps books are nostalgic for me,
Yeah, same.
but yeah, no, the TV series. That's why I remember the intros for both. That's quite nostalgic. But actually, watching
Uh-huh.
episodes, so I'm fairly sure Alone. Hello in the Dark. You've got me saying it now. Are You Afraid of the Dark's intro is like the scariest thing about it.
Is there, and they ran a campfire. He sets a match on fire. And he comes up. Are you afraid of the dark? And he's like, yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I have to watch it again later and just be like, oh yeah, that's it. I'm fairly sure it's that one, but yeah, I can't remember.
Yeah. But yeah, I remember being a big fan of Goosebumps as a kid, the books and the TV show. There was also another a kids horror writer that I really liked called Paul Jennings. Do you remember any books by him? Used to have like wacky covers where it used to be like the covers would have like multi layers to them as you turn the pages. The cover would have multi layers.
His name?
Paul Jennings. Yeah, he used to do a bunch of horror titles.
Oh yeah, I remember seeing these. I've never read them.
I used to like them as a kid. We have Paul from Magpie Movies in the chat. Never fear, the movies of Magpies is here. Welcome to the stream.
Welcome, 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 welcome.
I
think
the weird thing is, I made Paul a moderator, but I don't see the blue spanner next to his name.
No, if he sees it.
Yeah, I would have thought I would have seen it. Doesn't matter. It's all good.
All good.
Well, he says, I see you've made me an admin too. Nice.
No, if he can see it, then that's all right then.
That's good. Awesome. I've made you one as well, Frazer. So
yeah, I can't see that I've been made an admin, but I guess if I'm in the chat, then I could be an admin. But like as yeah, I don't see a spanner. But again, I guess I'm just not.
Maybe it doesn't. It's not showing up because we're in StreamYard. Maybe on the actual YouTube page for the stream does.
Yeah, that might be what it is.
Hmm.
Oh yeah, I can see it now.
Cool,
that works. So we can destroy the trolls.
Yeah, I've already blocked one, so that's all good. And the thing is, I already knew he was a troll as soon as he joined the chat because he posted a comment on my Critters video saying, "Great Critters video, but stop all that editing and double cameras. It sucks." I'm just like, well, no one said that. No one says editing sucks. So what a load of shit. So I just
Yeah, people are just idiots. That's fine.
Paul says he's ordered 2 Arrow movies, haven't I? I had a look because Arrow's got their Camp Blood Part 2 sale on, but I stopped myself because I can't spend any money this month. I've just paid out 140 quid for band recording, so I really can't spend any more money. Yeah. Anyway, he says, for fuck's sake, want to order 2 more as well. Paul, could you order me a couple while you're at it? Cheers. It's a good question. I know we've kind of moved away from what we've watched, but I thought as more people get in, it's good to just jump in the chat.
Yeah, of course.
Forgotten World of Movies asks, favorite zombie movie?
Currently Train to Busan.
Currently, Return of the Living Dead is mine.
Return, yeah.
Well, I say it jumps between Day of the Dead or Return of the Living Dead. Yeah. One's deeply bleak and depression. The other one is a horror comedy that I absolutely adore. With the most hammed up acting of all time, which is great.
Of course. Hammy acting's great.
Yeah, Michael Movie said Train to Busan. His is Train to Busan, so he knows.
It's such a good film. It's
Not
so
seen it, man.
good.
I have not
Oh,
seen
you need
it.
to
It's
pull
crazy.
your
I've got.
fucking finger out and watch
I've got net. Is it on Netflix? I've got Netflix.
it. Ooh, I don't know actually. It might be. I'm not sure. I don't know.
Forgot what it says. Train to Busan is quality.
Yep.
Last one says, I can see he's a spanner in more than one way. That's a burn. That's a burn right there.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Okay. Stephen Hogan says, what do you think of Ice Cube roundhouse kicking Michael Myers? Is that from Resurrection?
I think so. It's been a while. I hate that movie. It's one of the worst ones out of the series, and I do count 3 along with that as well. But that is one of the worst ones in that has the Halloween title stamped on it. So I can't remember. I'm fairly sure Ice Cube is in that one, isn't he? I don't know.
I don't think. I think I've seen the clippy. I think I've seen the actual clip. I don't think I've seen the film in its entirety. I've got the box sets now, so I should get on those at some point.
Good luck with some of them.
Plato Guy, he says, hi Jason and Fraser, how are you both doing? Is this a new series replacing the normal streams? It's not replacing the normal stream. This might be like a once a month thing. I think it's a good thing to do, maybe once a month. What do you think, Fraser?
Yeah, I would say that's probably sounds about right.
Yeah. This is a really, really good question. Tech Guitarist asks, hey guys, what's the most obscure, most disturbing movie you've ever seen?
I've got a contender and I'm wearing it right now. Tetsuo the Iron Man. I'd say that's definitely up there. Oh god, I'm trying to remember like anything that's like weirdly obscure, and I watched it and went, "What?" Like you get a recommendation from someone, like, "Oh, you'll like this." I'm like, oh, "Okay, cool," and then you watch it and you're like, "Why did you think I would like this?" You think I'm some kind of like sadist? Yeah, I can't. Yeah, I can't think of anything off the top of my head. I would definitely say that's definitely up there for sure. Tetsuo the Iron Man is pretty much up there. There's a couple of anime I've seen that have been fairly disturbing, and Jason knows of some of them. He's not paying attention now. He can't multitask people.
I am. What anime is that?
Well, I can think of. There's a few I can think of that are, like I've watched and went, what, why is this happening? There's a couple. There's a couple. I mean, I tell you what. There's a lot of the '70s stuff that I found was quite disturbing as well. Like a lot of like the Italian scene was pretty disturbing, obviously because of like it's quote unquote realism and stuff like that. I see what I've got a couple of things downloaded that I haven't watched yet, and one of them is I've got a Guinea Pig downloaded, and I'm like, do I want to watch this?
It's just going to be 90 minutes of a guy chopping up someone. That's literally the films.
Yeah, but that's what
like
the Cannibal Feroe and Cannibal Holocaust are all about. It's literally just like, what is this? We've found some people that have never seen humanity before, and they just fucking eat them. It's like, what is this?
I'm sorry. As soon as you like, what is this? Blood. I hope this is not Chris's blood.
Oh my god.
A dining room.
Yeah. Considering I recently played that and finished it, I was like, yeah, this is.
Well, the OG PlayStation version.
No. I've only played the remaster, but I know the scenes from the original because they're just so ridiculous. I do want to play it. I've got it. I just haven't played it.
Look out! A monster! I'll take care of this, Jill. Sorry, I know that game so well. Oh, it's great.
I love the
It's-
voice acting in the older games just because the thing is like people go, oh, it was terrible, but I'm like, but it's so nostalgic just hearing those voice lines and being like, oh, this is so shit. Obviously, like I have way more nostalgia for Resident Evil 2 than I do
Yeah,
1.
same.
And I liked 3 and a couple of the other ones as well. But like my most nostalgic thing ever was number 2. It's the first one I played. I like the music and just like some of the voice lines. I mean, God, how many times have we spoken? And I've done something online to, who are you? What are you doing here?
I swear,
Relax, I'm human.
I swear, sometimes our chats are literally just not us even talking to each other. It's just us just quoting stuff.
Yeah, that's exactly it. It's just sorry
it's
about
brilliant.
that. I thought you were one of them.
What's going on in this town?
Stop. We got to stop now before we get carried away. That's the thing.
Great.
Hold on.
So basically, I can't think of an obscure, disturbing film that I've seen because I tend to avoid that shit. Like a Serbian film, won't watch it. Antichrist, won't watch it. Salo, won't watch it. You get the drift, basically.
I saw Sailor on my list. I haven't watched that. I might watch it. I'll report back to you with my my PTSD.
There is a film that I do think it's not obscure, but it's fairly disturbing. But I still think it's really good, which is good old Wolf Creek.
It's got some fucking horrible bits in that.
It's fucking
He
it's disturbing.
threatens to cut off the woman's tits. I'm like, what? And just like that, you get that moment where you think that you've met, you know who the final girl is. She's about to get away in the car, and he just fucking knifes her through the car and severs her spinal cord so she can never run. I'm like,
yeah.
Oh,
And it turns out to be the guy that escapes, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Have you seen the sequel, Frazer? There's a sequel, isn't there?
I feel like I have, but I cannot remember anything about it.
Interesting.
Yeah, but
yeah, I can't think of any. I'm just looking. I'm looking at like looking around for stuff like what is obscure. But yeah, I can't see anything that I find to be obscure and disturbing.
It's like you said before. You kind of steer away from the obscure stuff. So
yeah,
well, not the obscure stuff. The disturbing stuff.
Yeah, but obviously, I think the word disturbing I think depends on who you ask, though, right? Because what I might find disturbing, you might not, or vice versa, or whatever. You know?
Yeah, the only thing with like if I find that something's disturbing, it kind of doesn't like it doesn't really like put me off. It just it depends on how bad it is. Like there was a point in, like I said, there was a point in my my sort of I don't know what you call it, my journey into especially horror films, when if someone said, "Oh, you have to like, oh, that film is like, oh, it was banned once, and it's notorious," I'd be like, "Fucking, I want to watch it. I want to see what this is about." So I end up watching, a lot of the '70s stuff. I watched Exorcist for the first time when I was like in my late teens, and I love that film.
Yeah, so
and there's a couple other ones as well where I was just like, "Oh, you have to watch this." You know, like you got like Human Centipede.
Yeah.
Serbian film was one of them as well. There was just like a bunch. I remember going on like this whole tirade of like waiting like pretty bad. I was downloading them all, but I was finding like I was like had this like small catalog of just like these really horrible films, and I was just like getting through them slowly and just going like, what the fuck am I watching? And like I wouldn't tell anyone about it. Like I tell the people who recommended the films, like I did watch that the other night, and they're like, "Oh, what did you think?" I'm like, "Why? Why does that exist?" But what can you do?
Yeah, there are some films that that intrigue me. So in the 70s, there was a film called Faces of Death, and it's what they call it's by a company called Mondo, something like Mondo Films or something. Right. And it's meant to be like a documentary style film, but it's all about like Faces of Death. It's all about people dying for real. So real scenes of death, basically. But since it's been out, it's already been like it's already been debunked, where a lot of it is done by practical effects and stuff like this. A lot of it's not real, but it's got a reputation of being really messed up, and that kind of intrigues me a little bit, because now I know it's not real. I might give it a go. Like, do you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, I mean, give it a go. I mean, if it's if people recommend it and looks good, then why not? I don't see why not.
There's also another film more of a documentary film from the 70s called Africa Adido,
Okay.
which was at a time where the British, we pulled out of Africa, and it basically caused Africa to go into some kind of civil war, and it was just basically atrocities, and became kind of like a lawless continent almost.
Hmm.
And basically it's about this film crew filming this documentary about this crazy shit that's going on, and the stuff they apparently caught on camera was some of the most harrowing and disturbing shit ever caught on camera. And this documentary has it all there. It's meant to be one of the most disturbing and graphically real documentaries out there, in terms of just basically obscene, horrible shit. I'm like, fuck. And
Sounds great.
shout out to John from Mondo Chevik Movies, because he does talk about those kind of movies, and he does say that's something you won't ever see today, is films like that being made, where it shows some of the horrific acts of just atrocities known to man, kind of thing, known to humanity.
Yeah.
He says we'll never get that we'll never get that again, which says all you need to know, right? If we'll never ever get something like that put out today, because we know about how it is when it concerns societal norms and all that.
Yeah, exactly.
Was definitely a different time, and obviously there was a lot of horror films banned in the 70s and 80s that are pretty tame by today's standards. But I've noticed there's a lot of things that came out in the 70s, 80s that wouldn't fly nowadays.
Yeah, well, they got away with a lot more. People are a bit more sort of it affects people more, a lot of this stuff now. So in a weird way, like horror tries to be more um, more provocative in some ways. Like we've got access to almost like better um, practical effects and obviously digital effects and things like that, so we can make things look more real, and or not even more real, but like make them look a bit more impactful. But it takes away from like some of the actual disturbing stuff. Like I said earlier about Saw, like it just becomes a bit silly, because it's just like how can we make this even more gross? How can we make it gross? And grossness doesn't really do it for me. Like I like a film that's got like a good amount of tension. It's got some something you can really latch onto in terms of like a plot, like an interesting villain, or does something that's like different. I don't know. Like I'm I like to I like films that challenge your expectations that way, and that's why I like the earlier ones, because they didn't seem to have this sort of notion where they have to be like super violent all the time, or
like I felt like when you did get those films that pushed the envelope in terms of their violence, it wasn't for the sake of being violent. There's always a reason for it, and that's what I liked about some of those older horror films that had kind of a message in there.
It was always a case of like just trying to make things, make a film with great pacing and add the tension massively, and then do something so horrible that it sits with you for a while, and that's what I liked. But now it's just like, oh, let's make this like fucking super violent film. Like, all right, cool.
Saying that though, I find that horror nowadays, especially mainstream horror, is as safe can be nowadays. Because a lot of it is coming out PG-13 in America. There's
because
not
nothing
really...
happens there. Like they know that people don't care about jump scares as much. They're like, oh yeah, I'll just it's not that bad. I'll just watch it. Oh no, I'll jump scared. Like I mean, just being jump scared because you're 13 doesn't mean anything. I mean, we were watching a lot of the old stuff when I was like 13 anyway. So
yeah.
Yes, let's move on before we get hooked on this for a long time.
Yeah. Oh mate, what a shout! Last Chance Ches. My favorite zombie movie is Planet Terror. I love that movie.
Yeah, it's not bad. Not bad. It's just fucking stupidly over the
It's
top. But
it's hammy as fuck. That's what I love about it though.
I wouldn't even go as far as that. I'd just say it's just so over the top. But like it's not in a bad way. It's just like everything's gross.
It's
Just
almost like a like a comic book almost.
yeah,
In
very
terms
much.
of it's like violence.
Well, it's Grindhouse after all. So
Yeah, I always remember that. I think we watched it together, and there's that scene where Quentin Tarantino is trying to rape the girl, but he's like melting at the same time. It's fucking gross.
his junk falls off because it's rotting
Yeah,
off. And I'm like,
yeah.
oh,
Because they need that chemical to hold it together, didn't they? You see
yeah,
them breathing stuff they got, so it stops the virus kind of like messing them up.
yeah.
There's that one bit in that film that makes me laugh every time where the the guy who's like collects balls is like I don't want your money, I want your balls. He's got the fucking ball shaped knife that cuts your balls off. There's a bit in the film where they're trying to escape the compound, and you see him poke his head round, got back, and then poke his head round. His head just goes blah, just explodes. It's so funny. Oh, I love that film. That's a great shout, though. Do I consider it a zombie film? Not really. However, it's not like straight up zombie film, is it?
It definitely has zombies in it.
Oh,
They're
it
definitely
does.
zombies.
It does, but I wouldn't say they're not like the focus of the film, in my opinion.
Fair enough.
What am I doing? What am I doing?
What are you doing?
Oh yeah, Forgotten World of Movies says Blu-ray for Train to Busan is fairly cheap on Amazon. Yeah,
Good.
I really can't.
There you go.
I really can't spend
Wait
money
then.
this month.
Wait a little while and then get it.
I'll see if it's on Netflix and I'll watch it.
I can't remember where I watched it.
Last Chance just says it's not that obscure anymore, but Cannibal Holocaust is disturbing as fuck.
Hell yeah.
See, I really want to see that film because there's a lot of people that I talk to on YouTube that love that film and say it's a masterpiece, right?
Yeah.
But I want to see a cut of the film that has none of the animal killings in it because I don't want to see that shit personally. But
Sorry.
ah,
Sorry, something just started playing in the background. I was like,
ah.
Yeah. I mean, you kind of have to watch it that way. That's the thing. So,
Thing is, what I'm saying is there is a cut of the film that doesn't have the animal killing in it, but it's in one particular release that is like out of print. It's on the Grindhouse releasing Blu-ray of it. That has like 3 discs. It has like 3 different cuts of the film, but it's out of print and it goes for stupid money now. So.
Why don't you like find what points of the movie those bits are in and watch it and just skip past those bits?
Could do that.
That's probably the easiest way of doing it, because that way you don't have to watch that bit if you don't want to. I mean, I try and watch things as they were intended, so I'd rather just I just watch it. I mean, it's disturbing as fuck, but it's like I don't stay up night and stay up at night thinking about it. It's just like that was gross. Yeah. I think I'm just incredibly desensitized to it all now.
Yeah. Yes. The thing is though, like I am, but like when you're killing animals for real on camera, I just feel it's so unnecessary. So unnecessary.
So you wouldn't watch like a tour of like a slaughterhouse?
Probably not. No, probably not.
I've seen some pretty fucking horrible things in the past. But,
yeah, probably not. Like, but also that kind of stuff wouldn't put me off meat either. Do you know what I mean? Like, okay. Like, I know there's I've got some people that I know that as soon as they like my ex-girlfriend, for example, she saw a video about how chickens are killed, how they process chickens, and it put her off meat completely. She was like, "I'm a vegetarian." Yes, when she became a vegetarian, which is fine. Like, there's nothing wrong with that. But it's just not. It wouldn't put me off meat like that, you know.
I understand.
Forgot Mode of Movies asks, have you seen Deep Red? No, but I've got it. Dario
No, I've not
Gento
seen that.
film. I've been meaning to. Apparently, it's really good.
Yeah. Well,
They
give
tend-
these a go.
Platinder guy ever played any Silent Hill games? The first
Yes.
3 are fantastic.
I've played 1, 2. I think I skipped 3 and I played 4. And then I played, what was the one that was on 360 and PS3?
Homecoming.
Homecoming. That's the only one I played.
Fair
Yeah,
enough.
I love the atmosphere in Silent Hill. It's one of the best things going for it by far.
Yeah, definitely. Number 2 is probably one of the scariest games I've ever played, personally.
Number 2 is amazing.
Mhm.
Number 2 is just an outstanding game. Wish I still had my copy of it. I mean, I've got the PS3 HD collection, but I'd rather have had the PS2 game. I had it. I had a steel case version of the PS2 game, and unfortunately, I left it somewhere. And I can't get it back. So less on that, the better.
This is a good question. Platinder guy also asks, which is your favorite horror type, psychological or bloody gruesome horror?
Psychological.
For me, they serve 2 different aspects of my entertainment for horror. So psychological, I find to be a bit more the disturbing side of things, where it makes you think about stuff. It gets in your head a little bit, gets under your skin. Whereas the bloody gruesome stuff, I find that's why I watch the Friday the 13th and all that kind of just over the top killing, murder kind of horror
Yeah,
films.
they're fun.
Yeah,
In a weird way of saying it.
yeah. Forgotten what the movie says. I read the plot to a Serbian film on Wikipedia, and that was enough for me.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah, I did the same.
Having seen it, I wouldn't recommend it. Like, I don't even think it's that good. I just think that it's just over the top. I mean, I get what they're trying to do, and I get that the purpose of the film and stuff like that, but it's not really worth the watch, honestly. It's just it's very, very it's very uncomfortable to watch that film. So yeah. To think that I watched that for the first time the same night that I watched Human Centipede 2, and that made me feel uncomfortable. And yeah, that was a fun night. You've just picked that up, haven't you?
Yeah, I got the first 2 on DVD.
Yeah, first one's not that. Like, first one's just like, oh, look, they're so together. But if you see the South Park episode, it's the same thing. Except without the
thing is, I'm a big defender of that first Centipede movie because like people go, oh, it's disgusting, it's gross, but I'm like, most of the horror in that film is implied.
You didn't see anything.
You don't.
Yeah,
I know.
Yeah, you don't see anything at all. You just like
probably the most painful bit of that film that always makes me go, oh, that's fucking horrible, is where the girl rips out the IV out of her arm and she tries to escape. It tears out open. That's fucking horrible. I'm like, oh, no, it's gross. Like that's the thing that gets under my skin the most is medical gore, because because putting out your IV in like a really brutal way could happen. So, no thanks. Sounds horrible.
Right.
That's probably the most like bit where I was just like, oh no, like that's probably the most bit in the film for me. But I think it's a fairly competent horror film. I think it's fairly decent.
It's all right. Yeah, it's not bad.
Forgotten.
I was just gonna say, enjoy the sequel though, because it's not the same.
Yeah, I've heard it's a bit more full on in terms of its messed upness.
Yeah. Let me know what you think. I'd be intrigued to hear.
It won't make me depressed with it. It probably will.
It won't make you depressed. I mean, it's not bleak enough. It's just fucked up. Yeah. I just remember I had a recommendation to watch that, and it's like 2 a.m. and I was like, I want to watch a horror film. I was talking to a friend of mine, and she's like, "Oh, I'll watch this." I was like, "All right, cool." So I watched it. What?
Sorry, it's all in black and white, right?
Yeah,
it's all in black and white. Yeah,
and that kind of detracts a little bit from the violence, but it's still just not nice. It's just like, oh,
Is it
oh,
like I know the plot? Is it he like it's like the first film exists as a film in the universe
yeah,
of the second movie, and he's like a copy. He's inspired by the film to do it in real
yeah, to
life.
do it, but he has no medical training. He has no expertise in any of that sort of thing. He just tries to do it, and he can't. But he attempts, and it's so bad. It's he does it so badly, and then he. Oh, I'm not gonna ruin it for you. It's hardcore.
Okay. This next question, I've got my answer immediately.
Mm.
What is the most disappointing horror film you've seen? Drag Me to Hell. What a load of shit.
Yeah, we watched that, didn't we? And it wasn't
Nah.
all that.
It was meant to be Sam Raimi's comeback to horror. Nope. Like,
Definitely not.
there was nothing particularly scary about it either. Like, it had some gross out moments, but that's about it. I'm just like, what the fuck is this? Like, it's just,
Yeah, I
it
can't.
wasn't good.
Most disappointing horror film I've ever seen. Being disappointed is a different thing because I usually go in with no expectations if it's like a brand new film. But usually my expectations are peaked when I see a trailer that looks good or it's a sequel to a film I really like. So try to think of a good one. No, got it. I've got it. I absolutely have it because it is horror. It's a sci-fi horror, and it is one of the worst films I've ever seen. We saw it at the cinema.
Should we say it together?
Yes,
1,
absolutely.
2, 3. Alien Covenant.
Covenant. I was going to say Isolation, and I was like, no, that's because I'm installing it right now. Don't ask. I don't want to play it, but apparently I'm being forced to play it now.
I love that game. That game is amazing.
Fucking scares the shit out of me. It's one of the scariest games I've ever played, just because it's just so sudden. You die so suddenly. Anyway, Covenant. Because that is a horror. It's a sci-fi horror film. I mean, leaning a lot more on the sci-fi as well, which is fine. But it was one of the most disappointing things I've ever seen.
And we saw it together.
We saw it together, and I think I mentioned this to you last time I was on. I think it was last time I was on stream, or it might have been. There's a bike outside. You can't see that. And I think what I mentioned to you was that film. You know, like how like things grow on you. Like oh yeah, that film's actually really grown on me. Oh, I like that. So it's actually a couple of the since it's grown on me. The hatred for that film grew on me. Like the more I thought about the film, the more I hated it. And I was just like we're walking away from the cinema, and I'm just like, that really sucked, didn't it? And we're like, yeah, I think it really fucking sucked. And you know what? Yeah, it sucked. It was one of the most disappointing things I've ever seen. It was just like, oh yeah, so Ridley Scott is like, oh, he's come back to Alien. It's going to be great again. No. I mean, Prometheus was semi okay. It was okay. Like it was okay on its own merits. I don't think it was necessarily a bad film. However, as part of the Alien universe, it's a bit like, what's this?
I've mentioned this numerous times. There is so many directions they could have took that Prometheus if they were going to go, if it's going to make a trilogy, they was going to make a Prometheus trilogy. They could have taken, it could have been a great science fiction trilogy in the Alien universe that didn't necessarily need to have the xenomorph in it, in my opinion.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I think, honestly though, to be fair, I generally feel the fans are almost part to blame about Prometheus because I think a lot of people whinge that, oh, where's the alien? Where's the alien? There's no
well, I told you,
alien.
I went to cinema to see Prometheus, and I remember this was your local cinema. I was there, and I remember coming out, and there was like a couple. I think he's ahead of me. I can't remember. I just remember the bloke being like, "No, that film was a bit rubbish." no proper aliens in it. I prefer that Predator film. I'm like, fucking, like, just take with the sort of people go in don't really understand what the film is trying to do. And I get that it's like the progenitor story. It's how those creatures sort of like came into being, sort of thing. But like, and it doesn't do it in like it doesn't do it in a shitty way. But it follows up with Covenant, and it shits all over it. It shits over everything. And
If they,
I wanted the alternate Aliens 5 with is it Neil Blomkamp?
yeah, that's it.
Yeah. I
I'd
want
say
his
though,
ones. It look cool.
he does have a horror film coming out. It looks amazing. It's called Demonic. It looks awesome. The trailer, I was like, I'm on board. This looks great.
Sounds good.
Check out the trailer, man. It looks awesome.
I will.
Yeah. This is the thing. If Ridley Scott ever does get a chance to finish this Prometheus trilogy, which I want him to finish it because I feel like an unfinished story. Like, what's the point of starting if you're not going to finish it? It's just a waste of time. So I would like them to finish this trilogy, and I think I've said that I probably would call it the David trilogy because it's about David at this point. It's not about the alien. It's not about the xenomorph. It's about David. Yeah, it's all about the blowing and the fingering. That one of the worst scenes of all time. I'll do the blowing, you do the fingering. Seriously, was that needed in this fucking movie, Ridley Scott? No.
So, makes me want to fucking tear my own eyes out. Do an Event Horizon, just be like,
And the whole oh mate,
yeah.
now that's a fucking science fiction horror film.
It's terrifying. That's one of my favorite psychological horrors. It's fucking mad.
Hellraiser in space.
Yeah, I mean that exists anyway. Unfortunately.
What?
Yeah, Hellraiser 4 is basically Hellraiser in the future in space. It's like intergalactic bounty hunters have found the cube, and you're like, why? Why is this happening?
Oh, by the way, I found out something quite interesting about Hellraiser I didn't know about.
What's that?
What's the one with the video game where the world's a video game?
Hellworld.
Yeah, I heard that
Like
Henry Cavill. I've heard that Henry
Cavill. I told you that.
When?
I told you that when I watched it. I was like, oh,
I don't remember.
Oh, Henry Cavill was in this. Weird.
I don't remember.
Yeah, and he gets mullered. Mind you, everyone gets fucking mullered in the film. So.
Oh god.
Yes, but yes, that was my most disappointing Alien Covenant for sure. Unless you count Resident Evil. But those are more like action, so no. It's like, oh, it's got zombies in it. It must be horror. Not really.
No, it's those films. Even though I kind of got a soft spot for the first one, those films should be basically. They should Paul Gabanson. He should have titled them "Look at My Hot Wife." That's what they should have been called. Look at my hot wife. Look at my hot wife again. Look at my hot wife even more. Look at my. You get my point. Anyway, we'll move on.
Yes, I understand.
Anyway, Platinum Guy asks, any Arrow video horror recommendations? I have many.
I'll you're over this side. I will leave this to you because I only have 2, Hellraiser and Candyman. That's it. Because I already own them.
I'm gonna go and pick out
God.
some.
Oh god,
What?
he's going to the collection. He's going to get the stuff.
Yeah. I ain't got that movie. I've heard it's good though.
Have you watched the stuff before?
No, I've not seen it.
Oh my god.
Is it good? I look like a DJ. No? Okay. go over there.
Everyone just ignore him. He doesn't know what he's talking about. He's a silly man. Nope, here he comes. I wish I could do an impression of David Attenborough, because I would. Here we see Richard Runu browsing his local files for
what
for new Blu-rays. I can't do nothing.
What are you doing?
Nothing.
Right, so I picked out some, Pete, just so there's some obvious ones here that Arrow put out, which is good. So the first one is Demons. I love this movie. It's awesome. One of Dario Argento's best. Yeah. What?
Sorry, because obviously it's in Italian, so it's demoni. But for me, for some reason, it's demony. So it's like, oh, it's a bit demony. I don't know why. It's just, it just went in my head, and I went.
That's brilliant. Oh, I'm never going to unsee that now. Oh, have you seen Demon? Have you seen Demon? But yeah, Demons is fantastic. I love that film. So I recommend Demons if you can get it, because these are out of print at this point in time. But I picked the standard version up fairly cheap. But there is standalone 4K releases if you're into that. The Crazies. I love this film. Recommend The Crazies. That's the original George Romero Crazies. I love it. A film no one talks about, which I think is amazing, which is Horror Express. I've spoken about this before enough, Frazer.
Yes, you have. Yeah.
Yeah, Christopher Lee, Peter Cushing, The Thing on the Train is excellent. Love it. Maniac Cop. It's a bit of fun, isn't it? Maniac Cop.
That film is ridiculous.
It's a bit of fun.
It's ridiculous.
You got Bruce Campbell. He's a bit of a dick. He's a bit of a dick in this film, though. The character. Yeah. Of course, the best werewolf film ever made, in my opinion, American Werewolf in London. It's a must own. And of course, one of the greatest science fiction horror films of all time, The Thing. So they're my picks, which I would recommend if you can get them. So I'm not sure how readily available some of these are still, but that would be some of my pickup recommendations.
Mm-hmm. Very nice.
For Arrow, but I'm waiting for that Arrow for The Thing 4K. Oh, I'm waiting for that The Thing 4K. Last Chance Shin says, I have a book that's all about making the Grindhouse double feature of Planet Terror and Death Proof, as well as the fake trailers, as Machete wasn't surprised to be a thing. Supposed to be a thing, I think he means. Has the original full script.
No, I think he wasn't surprised that was going to be a thing.
Oh, okay. Okay. All right. That sounds cool. I would read that book.
Yeah, sounds cool.
Not seen Death Proof, but I've heard mixed opinions on that. Some people love it, some people hate it. Forgotten what the movie says. Is there a known horror film that you find unintentionally terrifying? For me, it's Son of the Mask.
Oh God, Son of the Mask sucked.
Not seen it for that reason.
Not so much anymore, but I was really, when I was growing up, I was really scared of the Gremlins.
Yeah, that scared me as a kid.
But it's a film I find unintentionally scary. Like, just like something in it is just. I'm not scared of them anymore. I've seen the film quite a few times now, and it's like, yeah, I love it.
It's great.
The first one has now become a Christmas film for me, like every year. So.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah, no, I'll definitely say that. Now I can't think of anything now. I don't know. No, I don't find anything like creepy now or scary now. Just I'm not a big fan of like dolls and stuff, I guess, but they're always creepy. People always find dolls creepy. Even like, yeah. No,
I remember, like, I swear you've got a thing of not really liking kind of creepy little girls in horror films.
Yeah, but they're intentionally scary.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Like
unintentionally scary. Okay.
Yes, that's what you mean to say. If you know, is there a film that you find unintentionally terrifying? like that's why I say the Gremlins. Like I was scared of it, but there's nothing to be scared of. They're just little monsters, but they're not scary. But it just I was terrified of them. I was terrified they were gonna like fucking destroy the kitchen and then eat me.
What is that film? I remember being scared of a film. What is that film about? Like something happens, like this weird thing happens that makes every electronic device come to life. I think it's a Stephen King film. Because I remember there's a bit in it where there's girls in this cafe and she's cooking the food, and there's an electric knife going and just like moving, and then
I can't remember which one that is.
She's like chopping up cucumber or whatever, and it comes over and just cuts her into her arm. Like comes alive and just cuts into her arm. I was like, "Fuck!"
Yeah,
like, as a kid, that scared my life out of me. As a kid, that like the idea of like my washing machine wants to kill me. Ah!
Right, I have just remembered one, and if my brother was here, he'd laugh because he knows this one very well. It's not so much that I find it scary. There's a particular song. It's more of like a short film with a song attached to it. And every time I hear it, it prickles me in like a really odd way. Like I don't like it. It makes me feel very like I don't know. There's something about it. It's like it's freaky to me, and I don't like it. And you're gonna laugh. Is the snowman, as in we're walking in the air. That snowman that they play every year at Christmas.
Right? Yeah.
I don't like it. It's still to this day I refuse to watch it because it kind of like it sets my nerves on edge for some reason.
Okay.
It freaks me out a little bit, and I don't know why.
Interesting.
I think like something bad happened to me and it was on the TV. I don't know. But no, when I think about things that are not at all supposed to be scary, not in the slightest, that's probably the one. Like it does something. It makes you feel a little bit sick. I don't know what it is.
I have a similar thing, and it's from a Monty Python movie. From Meaning of Life, it's the bit where they come to cut out his liver. And they hack him open. I saw that as like a 12-year-old, and that really fucking scared me. Because it's not so much what they're doing, because you can't really see it. Because it's like kind of the way they shoot it is you don't see the guy, you just see like them sticking into like the bottom of the screen and blood spurting out everywhere. But it's the guy's screams that absolutely fucking terrify me. Yeah,
it's a good one. Yeah.
Yeah,
like all that. You don't like that disembowelment, do you?
No, but it's solely because of the idea that someone's sticking a knife in your squidgy stomach, and obviously, I don't like the sound of someone like basically screaming and gurgling to death. It's horrible. I'm on edge talking about it. Can we stop? Thanks. Cheers. Let's move on.
What about that being Dawn of the Dead with that fucking biker gets his stomach torn open? That's rad. I remember seeing that for the first time going, oh!
Yeah, I was like 8 when I saw that. It was on TV. I like flipped to the. I think my dad fell asleep, and I was just like flicking through the channels, and it was on. And it's just like you see his stomach just pop open, and he's like putting it. He's like, yeah, not nice as an 8-year-old. I'll tell you what, right? There's a bit in Dawn of the Dead that just doesn't make sense to me whatsoever. There's a guy, I think we spoke about it before, where there's a guy checking his blood pressure on the blood pressure machine. He's just where all his zombies are around. He's like, I'll check my blood pressure. No. He just gets pulled away. I'm like, what are you doing, you twat? What the fuck? What an idiot.
I need to rewatch that soon.
I'm tempted to get the 4K. I want to get the 4K.
Yeah, if you want to get a 4K, do it. Don't. Don't start. I know what you're gonna do. Don't start. Let's move through because we've gone well off the rails. And
Last Chance Chair says my other half likes to say, "I'll do the blowing, you do the fingering." What does she mean? For fuck's sake!
Brilliant. He's gone now anyway. I think Last Chance is gone.
Bye. I know you
Bye.
there. Bye.
10 minutes
Bye.
ago.
Bye. 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 Bye.
Bye bye. And forgotten one of the movies. Got a question. Well, not a question. A statement.
Yeah, he says, forgot my, yeah, he says, the other unintentional
Oh,
terrifying scene for
yeah.
me is the Arnold baby from Junior.
Oh,
I've not
that's
seen that film.
that's got uncanny valley vibes. That's like it's unsettling. It's unsettling. You're like it's not nice. But the film is really not all that. If you ask me, it's not great. But it's got some good lines in it. Oh, sorry. It's got some quotable moments, but nothing anyone ever recognizes unless they're like massive Arnie fans, like me, basically.
You got Christo
Baskerville.
Baskerville. He says the song by Aled Jones.
Yes, yeah, that's the one. Oh, I don't.
He's
like
a kid though, right? He's a kid.
He's a kid when he sung it. Yeah, he was a
Yeah.
kid when he sung it. Something about that, just something about it's just spooky. It's not even spooky. It's just something about it, just like how you have like sleeper agents, where it's like you speak a certain phrase and they become like combat killing machines.
So the Winter Soldier.
Yeah, like the Winter Soldier.
Yeah.
With me, if you play that, I turn into like a mess, and I just don't want to exist anymore.
Do you take the fetal position and just rock yourself to sleep?
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, I don't just take the fetal position; I revert back to a fetus. It's like lying on the floor in like umbilical fluid. Anyway,
Christo says you'd hate the opening of Scream. Then I think he's referring to a disembowelment thing for me.
Yeah.
I love that opening. I think it's one of the greatest horror openings of all time.
I watched it again last week, and I was like, so good.
The thing, I know there's disembowelment in that opening, but the difference is you don't see him being disemboweled. It kind of goes black and he comes back on. And he's just got his intestines all hanging out and shit.
So what you don't want to see is someone with like a serrated blade just soaring into someone's stomach and then just start ripping everything out.
There's a film that does that, and it's horrible. That I've
Which
seen.
Which film is that?
Oh, what is it called? Shit.
Oh,
it's I think it's called like shit. What's it called? Laid to Rest. There's two films, and they are some of the most. They're modern. They're like 2007, 2009. Okay. They are some of the most graphic horror films I've ever seen. And there's a bit where he's got his like chrome mask on. He looks. It's the films are bad. I'm just gonna put it that way, but they are hilariously over the top gory, right?
Kind of like Hatchet, then.
Yeah, kind of like Hatchet.
We watched one of the Hatchet films when we had Halloween at mine, didn't we?
Yeah, we watched
because it was on TV, and it was like it was just like, what the fuck are we watching? I think it was like number 3 or something.
Yeah, we pulls a guy's skeleton out from his skull out just from his belly, like it's just like I swear it's physically impossible.
It's so ridiculous.
Number 2 has one of the coolest looking practical effect kills I've seen in a movie, where he gets that woman and like pulls her, does like what would you call that? What would you call that?
So it's got a word, but I can't remember what it's called. I was just called like tearing open their jaw. I don't really know what you call it.
But he goes like right round, like it's so over the top.
There's a word for it there, and I can't remember what. Or there's like a term for it. I mean, like the closest thing I can think of in my head is like tin canning them. So like you're opening like a tin of something, you're like just peeling it back. But it's not like that.
It's not quite garroted either, is it? What's garroted?
Garroted is strangled.
Oh, okay,
yeah. That's why you have a garrote wire, like a piano wire. You you kill people with it.
Mm-hmm.
I know,
like the Ralph from Friday the 13th Part 2. You're doomed. You're doomed.
Yeah. Oh yeah. He gets garroted.
Old Ralph.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, man. Friday the 13th Part 2 is so underrated. I love that movie.
It's a good one. I do like that one. It's definitely like one of the ones I'd recommend people to watch. I'd recommend that over the first one.
I think it does pretty much does what the first one did, but better. And I actually like all the characters in the sequel. I think this it's the most rounded. I think it's the most well-rounded Friday the 13th film. Friday the 13th film when it concerns kills, characters, etc.
I guess so. Sorry. It's got some good kills in it too. It's still got one of the funniest kills I've ever seen. Still, without a shadow of a doubt, it's the guy in the wheelchair gets a fucking machete in the face and goes up the stairs like all the way down. That honestly, the first time I saw it, I was pissing myself laughing because like there's that sick sort of twisted sense of humor that I like, that little flavor of my humor that I have, where like obviously it's not real, so it's fine to laugh at, but it's just so funny. It's like when you play a video game, right, and someone throws a grenade and then you just see this body fucking ragdoll into the sky. It always makes me laugh. Or reminds me, I have a video to send you, if it's still available, where we're playing Hell Let Loose, the World War II sim.
Okay,
and James was like, I think there's a tank nearby, and he didn't realise like the tank was going this way, and he was like running like that. He had no idea it was our tank, and it ran him over, and we were just fucking dying of laughter because it's like, where is it? And it's like it's right next to you. It's like, where? And then he just went like there's
brilliant.
we were likening it to I don't know if you've ever seen did you ever watch Band of Brothers, the World War inspired by Saving Private Ryan, the World War II series that came out in I think like 2004, 5, something like that. Anyway, there's a bit in that where a guy gets run over by a tank and it's really violent. But it was one of those things that again just really made me laugh because it was just like he was like, and just gets squished, and it just I don't know, just makes me laugh.
Awesome.
Yes.
Yeah, you can just send me that. That sounds hilarious.
Yeah, it was very funny. Just fucking laughing so much. Yes.
Yes, mate. Forgotten Mode of Movie says I agreed with you. I guess it says you. I agreed with you about.
I agree with. I suppose it's you. Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Yeah. I agreed with you about Midsummer too. I enjoyed the film, but the characters are a bit weak. The characters suck in that movie. Absolutely suck. But I still loved it. It's not really a horror film in my opinion. It's more of a psychological drama.
It's got some fucked up bits in it.
It's got some messed up bits in it, but there's nothing that really kind of gave me kind of like, oh, this is a horror film. Like, there's nothing that screamed to me, this is a horror film.
It's the thing is, it is and it isn't. It's not like the same sort of horrors that this would come under like, like if you're looking at that massive diagram that we looked at a while ago, I'm fairly sure one of them is to do with cults, and that definitely comes underneath that because it's
okay,
people go on holiday after a massive trauma, and then and they they hang out with these people, and they find out it's very culty, and then spoilers to anyone who hasn't seen it, everyone dies apart from one, but it's just like I mean, the fact that the characters die in it and they die in horrific ways, to me is like that immediately sails it down the route of horror. Like dramas usually, when you have a death in a drama, they're very few, and they're usually like not super violent. They're usually like someone got shot, someone got stabbed, someone had a heart attack, someone got pushed down some stairs, or whatever it happens to be, and the film will base itself more around the trauma of that for the other characters, and horrors do that, but they will focus on moving the storyline, like what killed this person, and then if it was like an entity, then it's very much a horror thing, and in this case it's like cultists doing their thing, taking a very, very, very specific, weird version of paganism and making it into, hey, let's throw ourselves off a fucking cliff when we're too old. And hey, let's execute this man by sewing him into a bear costume and then burning him alive. It's a bit like it's definitely way more horror. It definitely, like when I watched it, I was like, this is the Wicker Man all over again. Literally, it's not exactly the same, but it's very close plot wise to the Wicker Man. which
And, like-
obviously I recommend massively. Not the fucking Nicolas Cage one. That
Oh my
is
god,
just-
the bees! Oh my eyes! Ah.
my eyes, not the bees, my eyes. Like it's
I've
just
not seen
that
the film. I've just
fucking
seen that.
film.
I've seen that clip over and over again.
Just don't. Just I cannot recommend anything less
Yeah,
than
like
that fucking film.
talking about Midsummer, I spoke to my friend Leon over the phone like about it the other day. Like, I think what makes that film a success to me, and I actually think it's better than Hereditary. I actually liked it more than Hereditary
I
as a
definitely did.
film. And I love Hereditary, so you can see how I feel about Midsummer. That I prefer Midsummer. What I think excels Midsummer is that the director's very clever in what to show you and what not to show you, and what to talk about in dialogue and what not to say. Like, it's very clever in how it kind of like takes you through what's going on slowly. Like, it's almost like peeling a layer off an onion, and onions have got many layers. It's kind of like that, how it kind of slowly reveals itself.
You could say they're almost like ogres.
Yeah, I just think it's like really well done, really intelligent. You know, there's some people that die in that film. You don't see them die. Like, you just are told things like, oh yeah, he left without you, he left for the station. He wouldn't
Exactly
do that to me. And it's just like, I'll take you. Then they go, where's she gone? Oh, thingy Bob, he took her to the station already. I'm like, then you realize they're just being fucking brutally killed. Like, fuck's sake.
Yeah,
Then
it's very much like, okay.
then you realize that basically the main it's Sweden, right? They're in Sweden.
In Sweden, yeah, they're in Sweden.
Yeah, the main Swedish guy who took them there. Yeah, I love it where you just realize they're all literally just there, they were brought there to die, literally.
Yeah, pretty much.
And I've got this theory that, you know, that the whole thing where they're all dancing. It's just like, oh, the last one left standing is like the May Queen, or whatever they call her.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, yeah.
Like, I feel like that was like rigged to make Danny be the May Queen. Like, they purposely all fell down and did it so because they already kind of made a decision for Danny to be that.
That is entirely possible. I would not disagree.
There's one thing my friend brought up, that in the director's cut, the whole scene at night where that boy was gonna sacrifice himself or whatever, being thrown in the sea, and you have that confrontation between Christian and Danny in their like relationship squabble. My friend was saying that scene is not in the theatrical cut. And he was saying that's very important because it shows how their relationship is deteriorated throughout the film.
Okay.
Did you see the director's cut or the theatrical cut?
I think I saw the theatrical cut, because I don't remember that.
Yeah. Okay.
I will definitely rewatch it at some point.
Yeah.
I've already seen the film like twice, so I'll probably have to watch it again at some point.
Yeah.
Just try to find it.
Yeah, because Leon, he was saying to me like, oh, if you're gonna watch the director's cut, it's the most complete version of the story. It kind of like, it fills in a bit more of the gaps that it actually is a better story. So that's why I just watched that without watching the theatrical version.
There.
So yeah, I just think it's just excellent. I thought it was excellent.
I really enjoyed it.
Anyway, gonna move on. We spoke about it long enough, I think.
Yep.
Christo says Friday 1 to 4 were the strongest, although some sequels were a guilty pleasure, especially Part 6. I love Part 6.
6 is my favorite. I agree with you. 1 to 4 is great. I think out of those 4, I think 1 is probably the weakest, funny enough. But actually 3 is a little bit funny, but it's not bad.
I was going to say, I think 3 is
better than
the
3.
weakest. I agree.
4 is better than 3. I'd say out of all of those, I think 2 is my favorite. No, 4 is my favorite out of those. And then 2, 3, 1. Oh, there you go. 4, 3, 2, 1. 4, 2, 3, 1.
I would say 3, 1, 4, 2 for me.
Fair.
But I think people know that the remake is my favorite, which doesn't go down well with some people, but it is what it is.
Yeah, me included.
Oh well.
It's a weird bunch because 5 is a bit of a misstep. It's not terrible, but it's not great. 6 is 6 is hilarious in a really good way. 7 is
Yeah.
along the same sort of lines, but it's starting to veer into territory that's a bit like that you don't need to do this.
I generally thought 7 was shit, like really
Um,
shit. Like it's like, I put a ranking out a year ago, and it's like at the bottom almost.
it's not a good one. 8 is slightly better.
Entertaining as fuck though.
Oh god,
Number 8.
I think I told you it's got my favorite kill in it for sure. Like it's one of my favorites at the very least. Where he's boxing that guy on a fucking rooftop, and he's like the guy's like punching the hell out of him. He's like, "Oh, I'll show you what you got," and he punches the guy's head off in one punch. I don't know why that is just one of the funniest things I've ever seen, and it is so stupid.
It's so stupid. Like I think I wouldn't say it's one of my favorite kills whatsoever. Personally, I think the hot coal kill is a bit more brutal. He takes the hot coals and just fucking stuffs it in someone's stomach. I'm like, that's nasty. That is.
Yeah,
that's brutal.
That's a good one. And then you've got what 9, which is fucking god awful.
One of the worst films of all time. In my opinion.
Chronologically, next you'd have Freddy vs. Jason, but I'll just skip past that one. But Jason X, it's got such a bad rap, but it's got kind of like a weird sort of nostalgia for that film.
I have a good time with that.
Yeah, and then the remake's competent. The remake's quite a good one.
I love that film. I love that one. Playtendo guy asks, what are some of your favorite horror TV shows? I don't think I've watched any. Really? I watched season 1 of American Horror Story. That was okay.
Yeah, I watched a few seasons of that. It kind of trailed off for me a little bit. I
watched the Scream TV show. I thought season 1 was great. Season 2 was shit.
Yeah, season 2 wasn't very good. I think The Walking Dead is one of the most overrated TV shows going. I think it's boring as fuck. Nothing happens.
Fair.
And everyone's just arguing, and the zombies aren't really a threat. They're just like, oh, there's loads of them. Let's run away. Okay, great.
I've said this before, but like the greatest quote that I've heard anyone say about Walking Dead is that it's literally EastEnders with zombies.
Yeah, basically.
Brilliant.
I'm trying to think. I've definitely seen some horror TV shows. I'm just trying to think of a couple. Ash vs. Evil Dead is fucking great.
I think I watched halfway through the first season. I need to get back on that.
Yeah, it's really good. It picks up. It's really good. I've tried to watch a couple other ones like Van Helsing, but I didn't really like that very much. There's Black Summer keeps getting recommended to me. I think I watched one episode and I didn't pick it up. But
there was a Netflix show. Was it Netflix or was it Prime? I can't remember. There was a werewolf show. I forget what it was called. Something Grove.
Hemlock Grove. Yeah,
I started
Netflix.
I started watching that. Maybe 3 or 4 episodes. I just couldn't get into it myself.
Yeah, it doesn't really. I think I tried to get into it as well, and it didn't really appeal to me. It very much felt like more of that sort of like Vampire Diaries, True Blood sort of feeling to it. Like it felt very much like a teen horror thing, but like not even. But it was teen in a way that it didn't do anything for me. And yeah.
So
I was going to say, like, if we're clarifying horror has to have monsters in it specifically, or an entity of some kind as an enemy, can we include Buffy the Vampire Slayer as a horror TV show? Because if so, that's one of my favorites.
I guess so. X-Files, I suppose, would be one as well. Sort of like science fiction horror.
Sort of, yeah. It's not. It doesn't lean a lot on the horror. It's very much more like Star Trek, but detectives. It's good though. It's got some fucking cracking episodes, like great series.
If we're talking about TV shows, then I'm guessing anime can count. And one of my favorite kind of horror anime shows is Parasite the Maxim. It's awesome.
Oh yeah, that keeps getting recommended to me on Netflix.
I tell you what, right? I tell you what. When I come around to visit, we should watch this.
God,
it's so good, man. I love it.
Fair enough.
I love it. I also love this. This is a good horror anime, which is Bloodseed.
That is one of the most violent things I've ever seen.
I fucking love it. It's awesome.
It has one of the most horrendous scenes I've ever watched in it.
Is it the wishbone scene?
Well, it's the whole bunny rabbit kills thing. The giant bunny monsters.
Oh
killing
yeah, those.
everyone.
Yeah, that bit. Yeah.
Yeah, that's got a
But-
wishbone. That's got the wishbone bit in it. And I was just watching it again. Oh,
Yeah, I love that. I
Oh.
love that show. It's such a good show. It's so good. I'm into quite a lot of bleak fucking anime shows, I suppose.
I think anime do horror TV shows quite well. They do violent TV shows pretty well. It just depends on
Yeah.
who's
Oh,
taking care of it.
there's another horror anime that I really like. It's called Another.
Okay.
It's more of a kind of like a kind of a supernatural one. Really fucking good though.
Okay.
Really good. Forgotten World, the movie says, yeah, that Christopher Lee Wicker Man is brilliant. I've still not seen it.
So good. It's
Not
absolutely
seen it.
fantastic.
Definitely one that if I see it in a charity shop for like 25p, I'll grab for sure. Ever seen Friday's Nightmares, a TV show spin-off to Nightmare on Elm? Freddy's Nightmares. What did I say?
Oh, we got another one. Unless that's someone. Yep. Okay.
Done.
No, I've not. I know about that. I've never seen it though.
I can't decide if I have it or not. I don't know whether it's
Freddy's Nightmares. It was like I think he was like a host, and he would like talk about these like story, or like you go into like little stories and stuff like that. But I don't remember much more about. I don't think I ever watched it though. I think I tried to buy it once, and then when I found out that it wasn't like a TV show about Freddy Krueger, I was not interested. So
yeah, I can't decide if it's actually a part of the box set that I've got. I don't think it is, but it is what it is. I can't tell if this last comment is a troll or not.
big fan. He's already been in the.
I don't know I don't know what he's referring to be fair, but I will.
I don't know.
If they are, they'll soon rat themselves out. So it's fine.
Yeah, that's fine.
I got Jim Jam Movies and TVs. Hello, James. Welcome to the stream. Appreciate you joining, my friend.
Welcome.
Welcome.
What are you
Welcome.
What are you selling? Thank you. Anyway.
I'll buy it for a high price.
Got a selection of good things on sale, stranger.
Why?
That sounds halfway like the. Go on.
Why is Resident Evil just so quotable? Like literally, like nearly all of it is quotable.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, a lot of the older ones are very quotable. He's the most quotable thing about number 4. Unless you know Spanish, you can start yelling what the villagers say, because I can always hear like the little lines.
You
that they say.
up, or whatever they say. I don't know what they do.
I can think of a few of them, but I'm not going to do them right now.
Yeah, it's fine. Oh, I love Resident Evil.
Yes.
Do you think this reboot movie, not the animated one, but the reboot movie, Welcome to Raccoon City, is going to be any good?
No. We'll wait and see what happens, but like, no, I don't. I really don't think it's going to be very good.
What was it? Oh yeah. Apparently, there's been kind of like the Alien TV show. The show. The director has actually come out and actually kind of talked briefly about his ideas for the show.
Okay.
And he's kind of like, I'm not really up for it, because what he talks about is really strange. Like he's kind of pushing a socialist agenda in there.
Okay.
Talking about how like as a society we are not distributing the wealth enough, and all this kind of talk, like socialist talk. I'm like, once again, fucking people pushing their agendas in TV shows. I just want to watch a fucking Alien TV show. I don't want to hear your fucking agenda politics bollocks. Thanks. Anyway, Forgot Mode of Movies asks, have you seen Society?
Yes, it
Uh,
is.
I don't think I want to. I know of its reputation as one of the weirdest films of all time.
It's weird. I mean, I'd recommend it though. It's got like, it's a film that kind of like meanders a lot, and then like there's a bit like of a mystery, and like you're like, oh, where is this going? And then at the end is just like, what in the fuck is this? And you have to sit. I think it's like the last half hour of the film is just, it is fucking bizarre, but like not in like a trippy sort of like you literally can't understand what's going on. Like you can understand what's going on, but you just like, why is this a thing? And I wish you had um there's a scene from that movie that McFrenzy, or McKinsey as you know, has saved a still of, and is currently his profile picture on Steam, and it makes me laugh every time I see it.
Is it the face that's an arse?
Yes, that's
Arse
exactly
face.
what it is. The boy
Arse
with
face.
the face. I think
Yeah.
it is. I think that's what
It looks
is.
so strange.
It still is. Oh, it's so funny. It's one of those films where I watched it and I didn't like regret watching it or anything like that. And I wouldn't recommend it like, oh, it's amazing, you should definitely watch this. I'm like, if you're intrigued at all, watch it. If you have no desire to watch it whatsoever, then obviously whatever, doesn't matter. But like, if you're sort of like, what is this about? I would recommend giving it a whack. It's fucking
It's
weird
on.
though.
It's on the Arrow Video. Have put out a Blu-ray.
That's where I watched it on my
on your app. Right?
No, I didn't watch it on that. I watched it on Amazon. Have their Arrow expansion thing, and that is, yeah. So yeah, that's where I watched it, and I was like, oh, I've heard about this film. It's supposed to be notorious, so I decided to give it a go, and that was it. Yeah, and it was really good. What's up? Your
Last
face.
comment. I don't know what he's on about.
Big fan of Nintendo games. Are you a legit person or are you a troll? Because if you're a troll, you can leave now. But it's getting on your nerves. What's getting on your nerves? Speak up. Anyway, let's continue. I see Nintendo sent us another statement.
Yeah. He said, I saw you picked up Sleepy Hollow the other day, Jason. Fantastic film. The TV series is brilliant as well. I didn't know there was a TV series. That's interesting. But yeah, this is why I pick up these kind of, why I'm picking up horror films. I know it's not necessarily a horror. Is it a horror, Frazer?
In a way, yeah. I mean, it's definitely got horror elements to it, but it's kind of tame. It's not like, I mean, yeah, people get their heads chopped off, but it's like super, super, super violent. It's just like, it's got a great vibe to it. It's one of my favorite sort of like, it's really good, man. Like, it's such a good film. Johnny Depp's great in it. Christina Ricci is Christina Ricci, and everyone else in it is pretty good. I can't really say much more about it, to be honest.
I feel like I'm following a trend with these films because I watched Dracula, which is very gothic. Frankenstein's kind of gothic as well, and now this looks like it's going to be a gothic movie.
It kind of is and isn't. I mean, because it's set like in it's like revolutionary US, so it's like independent stuff, and it's pretty good. Like it's got a really good vibe and a really good aesthetic to it for sure. Absolutely.
I also picked. I remember when we used to hang out years ago, and when we was in the band together. I remember you mentioning this film. I swear, I think you watched it with Vida years ago. And I just picked it up because I've not seen it before.
Oh, Stigmata. Yeah, it's a good one. Yeah. I can't remember. Did Vida watch that? I know I made her watch Event Horizon, and it freaked her out. that was really funny. I also took her to see. I remember we went to go see a film called The Fourth Kind at the cinema. It's like an alien abduction movie, and that really freaked her out. I remember that. It made me laugh though.
It's got Paul Anderson's "Look at My Hot Wife," right? It's got her.
Yes,
in it?
it does. Yeah, it does.
That's what I'm going to call her from now on.
It's like, look at my wife. Hasn't she aged really well? It's like, yes. Fuck's sake. Yes, we get it. This
Yeah.
guy, this guy, I don't get it. It's like Monster Hunter the movie. It's so great. It's gonna be amazing. It was like it was all right.
I think it's
It was
quite.
nothing new.
I think it's quite clever that he gets his wife in movies, because that means the couple get double paychecks, because he's getting paid to direct and she's also getting paid to act in the film he's directing. So they're getting like it's quite clever way of making business, I suppose.
Yeah,
Um,
guess so.
Christo says, I would just want one final sequel to Alien Covenant, link it to the original movie and leave them there. I agree. I think they should do that, and they should just leave Alien, leave it
Yeah,
to
I mean,
die.
at a push, yeah, I'd rather them do that. But like, no, actually, but at a push, they can do that. But I think honestly, if they said we're never making an Alien film ever again, I'd be like, great, I'm cool with that. And don't remake the old ones either. My God, if you remake the old ones, I will shoot you with a potato gun.
I saw this meme and it really made me sad. It was like it just says we all know that one day they're going to remake Lord of the Rings and we're all going to hate it.
No, anything but
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, it just says that. Yeah, it says we all know that they're going to remake Lord of the Rings one day and we're all going to hate it. And it just had who's the king?
I remember when the original came out. That'd be me as an 8-year-old man. 80 or 90-year-old man. Like, oh, Lord of the Rings well good. Well,
That's why it's the best film ever. No.
Oh, God. I
Um,
mean, it's fucking amazing. One of my favorites. But yeah, it's yeah, I'm not looking forward to that. Not looking forward to that.
would love to see an uncut version of Event Horizon. Well, we're never going to see that because it will those deleted scenes. Obviously, what they call the blood orgy scene that was meant to be super long and showing what happened to the crew. Apparently, they've been all destroyed. All the footage of that's been destroyed. So it's a version we're never going to see, unfortunately.
Yeah,
Which is a shame. It's a shame.
the same with it's not quite the same, but there's Nightbreed as well. I think I've told you about that. It's
I've got
you've
it.
got that. It's
I've
a weird ass film. I really really like it. There was so much extra footage filmed for that basically never made it into the film, and they weren't included on like director's cuts. There was nothing like that for that film at all. But as a guy I met once, and he had a version of it that his friend put together with those scenes because he sourced the scenes from somewhere and he spliced it all together. And there's scenes where you can tell they've been added because the audio is a bit off and things are a little bit fucky. But he's like, it gives you a closer indication of what the book was like. The book is called Cabal.
Which Clive Barker book, isn't it?
Yeah, it's Clive Barker. I love Clive Barker. I think I've got it in the trunk down there. Yeah, I've got Cabal and what's the other one of his that I've got in there? Oh, sugar! It's like 2 books in one that I managed to get because I really want to get Hellbound Heart as well, which is obviously Hellraiser, but I've just never been able to get it for that cheap, to be honest, unless I download it.
There's a book I want to get, but it's literally impossible. It's not impossible to find, but it should be paying stupid money for it.
So,
who goes there?
Oh, what inspired the thing?
Yeah, it's really expensive to get now.
Doesn't surprise me. A lot of these other books are pretty hard to get.
Playtendo guy asks, "What are some of your favorite horror comedies?"
Brain Dead.
Brain Dead's awesome. I love that.
First one that pops into my head because it's so stupidly hilarious.
I'd say Return of the Living Dead as well. I love that film.
Yeah, I know this is a bit of an obvious one because it came out when I was a teenager, and obviously people still talk about it a lot. But I love Shaun of the Dead. I think it's very, very funny, and it's got some great pieces, and it's definitely a horror film, but it's definitely a horror comedy. I just really liked it. I'm sure there's some other ones I've just. Oh, and funny enough, our namesake as well. Actually,
Oh yeah, that's a really
do
good one.
really like that one. That's a really really good one.
Tucker and Dale versus Evil.
Yeah, it's just things where like I just love the whole idea that these kids have stumbled upon like a couple of hillbillies and they're like, oh no, hillbillies are going to kill us, and these guys are like the nicest, sweetest guys, and they all the people just keep on like accidentally dying. Like there's a bit where the guy, I think he goes to like run at one of them and he gets out of the way like, oh shit, and he dives straight into a wood chipper. I went, that is so funny. I love that.
Yeah, it's great. I love that film. That's a great.
Yeah,
it's a
really
great,
good.
That's a great shout. Like if we forgot about that and our podcast is named after that, we'd have looked really silly. So it's good that we remember.
Very silly.
Yeah. See, when someone puts me on the spot, I just can't think of anything. My brain just goes. I mean, like I've seen some really shit ones, I suppose, like fucking, like Slaughterhouse Rules. That was fucking dog shit. That was. I'm trying to think.
I think I skipped past that one.
Oh, it was awful. I hated it.
Yeah, I can't think of any off the top of my head. There's films that weren't supposed to be jokes but became jokes, like Troll 2.
Yeah, there's that. Yeah.
Or what's that one I told you about? Skins Deep. Remember telling you about that one?
Oh, I think so. Yeah.
That's essentially a comedy, but like they played it up as like it's going to be the most terrifying film.
I think I've seen the cover where he's like got goggles, but he's got his like giant jaw, the metal jaw thing.
Yeah, he's got a bear trap for a mouth.
Yeah, yeah.
And it's one of the worst films I've ever seen. Like when I was at school, I had a girlfriend at school, and she bought that for me for my birthday. I was like, cool, this looks cool. And I remember watching it, and this is the shittest film I've ever seen. I gave it to someone. I was like, I do not want this. I didn't tell her. I was like, yeah, it was pretty good. Yeah.
What's that horror film? I don't know if it's a horror film that you spoke to me about before, where it has fucking what's his name? Oh fuck, I forgot his name. How can I forget his name? Bollocks. Willow, the guy in Willow, the little guy in Willow.
Yeah, that's Skin Deep. You're thinking of
Plates.
Yeah, he's called Plates in the film. Warwick Davis.
Yeah, him. Yeah, it just sounds ridiculous. You showed me a clip of it as well. It just looks so dumb.
And he's like his ability, the thing that he does as like a character is he throws plates at people.
Oh my God.
And it was a friend of someone I used to work with actually. Apparently he went to a signing for Warwick Davis, and he took that film with him for Warwick Davis to sign it. Apparently his answer was, "Where did you get this?" And he's like, "Oh yeah, it's a great film." And he's like, "You can't be serious." It's like, I literally, I think he said something about how there's some films you just do for the paycheck, and this is one of them. I went, cool.
That's fair. I respect.
It's like
that,
it's like when they got Michael Caine to do one of the Jaws films, but it's like one of the worst Jaws films. I think it's like Jaws 3 or Jaws 4 or something like that.
4, yeah, The Revenge. Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
And like when people ask him about it, he when he's been asked about it, I think he said something like he doesn't regret it because it helped him buy his house. And I was like,
that's fair.
Fair.
I
think it was his house. It was his house, or it was like a car or a boat or something. But it was like that paycheck for that film bought me this, and he was like, I don't regret it because I've got this now. Not that Michael Caine ever had to struggle. So, like, okay, I can't do Michael Caine. I can't do Cockney, even though I live in London. It's still just like really difficult. I end up sounding Australian when I do it.
You're only supposed to blow the bloody doors off. I can't do it either.
I can almost get it, but like it's a little bit like my dad will be very disappointed with me because he's like, "We're southeast. We're from the southeast." And I'll be like, "Shut up! You're not in Lock, Stock. You're not Jason Statham, even though you met him once." I was like, "Yeah, okay, cool." You met him walking the dog, apparently.
Oh god,
I don't think he did.
I can't think of any comedy horrors aside from the ones you mentioned. I can't think. My
I'm
brain.
sure I'll think of some. What we'll do is for the
Planet
next.
Planet Terror, sort of.
It's not played for laughs though. It's sort of played like it's just ridiculous.
Machete's kind of funny.
Again,
It's not really
same
a horror
thing.
film though.
It's not a horror film. It's an over-the-top action film played for laughs. Well,
Yeah,
I think it is kind of played for laughs, but
I mean, I could say it's the first scary movie, but that's straight up a comedy. So that's
yeah. I mean, I think parodies don't really count. I'm sure.
I've got one. I've got one that I love. Attack the Block. Love that film.
Is that a comedy?
It's a horror comedy. Yeah.
No, I didn't think it was a comedy, but yeah. I think I see that once. I thought it was pretty good. First time I ever saw John Boyega, but again, I think a lot of people only saw him in that film before he did Star Wars. So
I think so as well.
Yeah.
Moving on, another comment from Platendo Guy. He says, after Predator, I want them to leave Predator alone as well. Man, that was awful. Yes, it was.
Yes. Oh God.
It was them trying to be Marvel. They're trying so hard to be Marvel in that, and their whole idea of like, oh yeah, it's taking elements from whoever they're killed to make themselves like super predators. I think the concept is cool, but their execution is dumb.
I thought that film looked like shit as well. Like it was the CGI was terrible. It looked so plasticky and just like really not. Like I don't expect to see that stuff in like 2003 or 4 or something like that. Yeah, during the period of CGI where some of it was really ropey, but some of it was not bad. But most of it was pretty ropey. But in a film that came out in what was that 2018?
Yeah,
I think 2018. Yeah, no, why? For a well known franchise like Predator, and you got that. And it's just stomping around me like, no, I'm big predator. I'm going to kill the small. I was like, oh, this is so shit. And then they try and get you to like the prisoners, like the other characters, because they've all got interesting personalities. But I didn't like any of them. They're all just unlikable. Even the main character is a dick.
It's a real shame as well because like it's got Thomas Jane. I really like Thomas Jane as an actor. I think he's really good.
He does nothing in it.
I know he's just the Tourette's guy, which we're meant to find funny for some reason.
Yeah, it's like they keep trying to make these jokes like throughout the whole thing, and it's like, but they're not funny. None of it is funny.
No,
like, and I'm like, is it just my sense of humor or is it just really naff?
I think it's just try hard. They're really trying hard to be funny. And when you're trying hard to be funny, you're not funny. That's just fact.
Yeah.
Right?
The saddest thing for that film for me, by an absolute mile, is the fact that the guy who was in the first film, I can't remember his name, Shane Black? Shane something. Yeah, he's the one who directed it. I'm like, you were in the original and you fucked this up so bad. And the thing is, like, the original had it had 2 jokes in the whole thing. Like 2 actual jokes, and the rest of it was tension. It was all like, these well-trained men. You got the sense that they were a unit. They were meant to work together. They were very, highly trained. They have worked together so many times. You got the rapport for all of them, and they got stuck in something they could not even comprehend, and they all died. Spoiler alert: if you haven't seen a film that came out before I was fucking born. If you haven't seen that already, please go watch it. But it's arguably a much better film. Like it's the best film in the series. Obviously, that goes without saying. And honestly, all of the sequels they've done or anything to do with Predator since have steadily gotten worse. I'm not saying that I quite like Predator 2 still, but it has its problems. And Predators was good, but Adrian Brody is the worst casting choice for an action hero.
It's awful.
The rest of it, I liked. The concept is great though. I loved the concept. Like it was really good.
Yeah, I liked what I liked about that is I liked you got like Lawrence Fishburne, you've got him like he's like been there for years or whatever, and he's just like he's trying to
and just
survive. And
survived.
he's all,
Yeah,
I like that aspect.
yeah. I just thought like it was a good idea. I thought it was a really good idea, and then they fucked up this one, the last one, so monumentally badly, and it just screams of like the same thing we've said before about the Terminator franchise and things like that, where just stop it now, because it's just getting worse. And the thing is that they're playing it for money. Obviously, if they make a profit, they've made a profit. That doesn't matter. But I don't know. I don't think that film did very well. I don't remember hearing it.
This is the thing about films that I really don't understand. Yeah.
Yeah.
So a lot of people, especially insiders and movie insiders and people like that are within the industry, they always talk about successful movies like, oh, it's made over $1 billion at the box office, like the Transformers franchise, for example, is one of the biggest franchises of movies. It's made so much money.
Yeah.
The movies are shit, right? I don't care how much money it's made. They are shit. Bumblebee was good. I like Bumblebee, but the actual Transformers franchise under Michael Bay are so bad. What makes you think? Well, I know the answer to this because it made loads of money, so of course you think people are going to want sequels. But
Absolutely.
please stop.
Stop it.
They've got another one coming out. Frazer. Transformers: Rise of the Beasts, and he's going to have the fucking. Oh, he's going to have the fucking.
The Predacons
and the. I forget what the fucking animals are called. I can't know. But yeah, I'm just like, oh. I'm saying that. I started watching War for Cybertron on Netflix last night, and it's fucking great. It's exactly what I've been wanting for years. Do more of that shit. It's got no humans in it. It's just Autobots versus Decepticons. It's awesome. Do more of that. But they won't, because they won't bring in the billions from China that they desperately want. That's what it is. Oh,
very desperately. They want it.
They pandered to the to the CC to the CCP. Woe bad. But anyway, we're not a political podcast. We are a horror podcast. This is a good question. Forgotten Word of Movie says, would you say Ghostbusters is a comedy horror? Yeah, I think I would.
I wouldn't.
No?
It's a straight out comedy for me. Like it's like a
when I was a kid, the whole Zool thing scared the fuck out of me when she opens the fridge. Zool, I'm like, and the fucking dogs used to scare the shit out of me as a kid as well.
Yeah, they're kind of creepy. Yeah. Oh, you ain't God. No. Then die. I mean, like that film didn't scare me. I've never found that scary. If it just I just think of it as more of like it's very, if it's a comedy horror, it's like its main and absolute biggest theme is comedy. Like it's comedy first every step of the way, and then with like a horror theme overlaid, because it's obviously ghosts and supernatural things. That is a very good question as well, because I was going to say, what time is it now already? We've been on for 2 hours. It's a bloody long podcast.
Yeah, I think we're going to wrap up soon, I think.
All right, one more question then.
Yeah.
We'll take one more question. I mean, I know there's a couple of statements about new Transformers. Very cool. And Jim Jam has asked how long we're on to, and your answer is after the next question. So get your question in.
New Transformers is called Rise of the Beast. Yep. Bringing out Beast Wars. Yeah, I know. Why? I don't know why.
That's it.
The only good thing.
The
only thing that might be positive about them doing this Rise of the Beast is I'm guessing it's going to be a more of a kind of loose reboot of the franchise. Is that Michael Bay's not involved? So hopefully it might be good, because Bumblebee was good. I don't know. Maybe. Yeah, Maximals loved Beast Wars as a kid. Never really watched Beast Wars when I was growing up.
No, I didn't. I mean, I barely watched anything like that. I mean, that's very much more your sort of thing than mine.
Yeah.
I think the one that I watched, the one that I grew up watching, if anything, was probably He-Man. But even then, I only watched a fair bit of it. I didn't watch all of it.
The new show looks awesome, by the way.
Yeah,
The
the
trailer.
cast is amazing. Yeah,
Yeah.
I saw the trailer. The trailer looks
The
good.
trailer looks epic. Like I'm so glad that they've gone back to like the old school art style almost. Because a lot of these animation reboots of old cartoons have gone in this weird kind of like Steven Universe animation style that I don't really particularly like. So fuck off, cunt. Thank you very much. See you later. See, I told you, I kind of had I had a feeling he was a troll.
Get a shave,
And
gets on my
was
nose.
right.
Okay, cool. Go away.
That's what I did. I was like, cool, fuck off, you cunt.
You
Like,
literally didn't even write anything. You didn't even write that before. How were we supposed to know? Were you just yelling it at the screen and we're supposed to hear you? Go away.
It's so annoying. Like, can you imagine if he's in the street? Can you imagine? No, he'll be walking down the street. Beard! He's got a beard! Ah! Just a fucking mental breakdown of your beard. That's the kind of person I imagine.
Yeah, pretty much. Okay, we've got a whole bunch of we got three questions. These are the last three questions, and we're gonna smash through these. What horror film are you most excited for? I'm intrigued about the Candyman remake, but the trailer wasn't great, so I'm not sure. I'm kind of excited for A Quiet Place 2 because I've got that queued up for later tonight. So
yeah, I've got that awaiting.
Yeah, so I will be watching that. So I guess that, and I can't think of anything else that's coming out. So
I'm looking forward to a film called Antlers, which was been delayed for about a year. The trailer looked amazing, and also I'm also looking forward to Neil Blomkamp's horror film Demonic. The trailer looked amazing, so I'm looking forward to those two.
Nice.
They looked really good. What is your biggest pet hate from any movie from the Halloween franchise? Pet hate. I haven't seen enough of them to really have a comment, to be fair.
What's something that is in the Halloween franchise that really bugs me?
I don't like how the Rob Zombie Halloween 2 is pretty much just a glorified music video. Because that's what it is.
That's all his films. That's all they do. I think he's a woefully inadequate director, personally. I would say I don't really have like there's not like a theme that runs throughout them, but there's I can think of one is they seem to be like where Michael Myers comes from, like why he's so unstoppable, why he's so evil, and it's been explained and then re-explained and then changed and then changed and then changed. It's been changed quite a few times, and it bugs me that it's not consistent. Like they need to go right. He's evil because he's just fucking evil, and he's unstoppable because he's cursed. I was like, just leave it as one format and don't change it.
Yeah,
that's my pet hate.
Also, I feel like I've made the biggest mistake that I could ever make this year, which is watch the Halloween Kills trailer. Don't watch the Halloween Kills trailer.
I haven't watched it.
Don't watch it. It spoils the whole fucking movie because of course it does. It looks good, but yeah, don't watch the trailer.
I'm not gonna bother. I haven't watched it. I'm not gonna bother.
Yeah, don't do it.
All right, last question. And it's Lucas talking movies forever. You've just joined right at the end.
Yeah, sorry, Luke. We're just about to wrap up, man. Hi, guys. I'm here. How's it going tonight, lads? Have you seen
It's great.
Fear Street Part 1?
No, I really want to because Part 2 is out like next week, I think. But I want to watch Part 1. It looks pretty good. It looks really, really good. I'm very intrigued about that.
Forgotten Word of Christo says, excuse my bad grammar. It's fine, no worries, mate.
It's fine, mate, no worries.
Forgotten Word of Movie says, great stream tonight, guys. Massively enjoyed it. Oh, thanks a lot. Appreciate that. And Christo, he agrees with me. Yeah, they show too much. Way too much. Way. Anyway, we're going to end it there, guys. Thank you so much for joining us, as always. Do appreciate it. something a bit different today, but I enjoyed this one. It's been good, Fraser.
It's been great.
I feel like it's been a lot more focused this time around. It's been good.
It's been good. Yeah, we're going to come up with some themes for discussion next time. So
Yeah. I want it to be less reliant on the chat and more topical between us, kind of thing, and maybe
we'll do
jump
that.
into the chat from time to time for like your opinions.
Yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely. Platinum Guy says, fun
Thank you
stream,
very
guys,
much.
tonight. Been good fun.
Thank you.
Thank
Yeah,
you
it's
so
been
much,
great.
Pedro. Appreciate it. So, yeah, I've been Jason. This has been Fraser and Jay versus Evil. I've been joined by my awesome co-host, Fraser, known as Ram Hammer on YouTube. Go and sub to his channel. Go and check him out on Twitch. He plays scary video games.
I'll be streaming tomorrow and Sunday because I have been so lazy and I need to catch up and do some more streaming.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm on twitch.tv/RamHammerGaming and you can follow me there or on YouTube. I'm 4 subscribers away from 50 on YouTube. So if you haven't, that'd be fucking great. Just search for Ram Hammer. I am one of the top results, I think.
Let's all get him there, guys. So let's get him to 50. That'd be
50
nice.
subs. I'd love you forever.
That'd be great. Anyway, guys, thanks as always for jumping on. It's been great. Fraser, thanks for joining me as always, my dude. Bye, everybody. Bye.
Just get like slowly turn around.